Welcome back. 24-10, the halftime score. Utah State on top of Hawaii. Rich, what of these numbers stands out to you?
I'm big on turnovers, right? So Hawaii has 2 turnovers, Utah State 0. And then the other one is third down conversions, 1 for 7. They've got to get better offensively.
All right, we welcome you back. Rich Miano, Kanoa Leahy. Rich, what would you like to see from Hawaii here to try to change their fortunes?
Well, they've got to actually speed things up a little offensively because they're down by 2 possessions, and they've just got to get more efficient, especially on third down.
Well, they are ready to kick here to start quarter number 3, and it is Utah State receiving the kick. Again, they won the toss and deferred to start the game, and so they'll have the ball at the 25 here to start half number 2. Let's send it down to Scott Robb. Scott.
Hey, Kanoa, I got a chance to talk to both coaches at halftime. They were complete polar opposites. Coach Anderson for Utah State was almost giddy. He was very pleased with the way his team played in that opening half. He's hoping they can continue that here in the second half. Coach Chang, he almost looked like he was in anguish. He was not happy with the way the team performed in the second half. He said, we got a ton of things to clean up. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Scott. Yeah, and how, and they could start with maybe trying to limit the chunk plays for Utah State. 7 passes of 15 or more yards, including the 68-yard touchdown pass from Cooper Lega to Josh Sturzer to start the scoring here this evening. And now you got the rain coming down as well here in Manoa.
Yeah, and the 7 penalties, 85 yards. We talked about the 2 turnovers. So it was not a clean half for this Hawaii football team.
Calvin Tyler getting the first touch here in quarter number 3. Defensively, Hawaii led by Logan Taylor's 9 tackles as the defensive front stout on that occasion. John Tuitupo at the bottom of that stack. Peter Manuma with a handful of tackles. Meki Pei, 4 tackles and half a sack. And on the other side for Utah State, Michael Anyanwu, 4 tackles and a pass breakup. You also had Ike Larson, one of the highlights. He had the interception on Braden Shager.
Love what Peter Manuma did on that play, right? He's a safety coming down in the box, reads the tackle on the line of scrimmage, comes, keeps his shoulders square, and attacks the line of scrimmage.
Lega, he's going to toss it out. This is Tyler, a little bit of room to run. He loses the football on the way down, but a great chop down tackle there by Malik Hausman.
Hausman now listed as a senior, but he has a chance to have 1 more year of eligibility. One of the most consistent defenders, the nickelback. Watch this open field tackle as he comes up, and he puts his hand right on the football and gets it out. Malik Hausman, nice play on third down.
Hausman will be applying for that waiver. 4th down, and the snap is dropped. Constantly able to somehow get it off anyway, though, and it takes a little Utah State bounce. That was an amazing ad-lib play by Stephen Kotzenle.
And that's that reverse Manoa magic. Timmy said everything goes against the Warriors. They have a chance to sack the punter, change the field position, block the punt. Watch this, the ball squirting around, picks it up, tries to go to his right, goes to his left, kicks it with his left foot, and he gets decent yardage on the punt.
I mean, that alone should put him into consideration for Special Teams Player of the Week. Just that play by itself.
Yeah, kicking with both legs. That's rugby style, 34-yard net.
Well, he is from Melbourne, Australia, and of course there has been a lineage and really a litany of Australian punters that have made an impact on American football. Matt McBriar, former UH punter, one of the trailblazers in that regard, and really his exploits along with a handful of others and the Pro Kick Australia Academy really contributing to that as Dedrick Parson is able to break off a very positive run here in Hawaii's opening possession of the 3rd quarter.
Scarlett Harding, Alex Dunaki, I mean a bunch of guys from the land down under. Big run, Dedrick Parson. I like the way he ran inside, ran hard. A dependable running back.
Parson, 8 rushes for 49 yards. This pass is complete to the far sideline. And Zion Bowens is able to cross the line to gain. And Hawaii gets a first.
Yeah, and a lot of teams will blitz their corner from the boundary, right? And so the receiver somehow has to get the attention of the corner and then stop in terms of that spot, that dead spot. Really nice job of picking up the boundary corner blitz.
Well, Hawaii getting a defensive stop here to start this 3rd quarter. It would go a long way, even just for the psychology of this game, if they can produce points here on this offensive possession. But Dedrick Parson didn't go very far. Hale Motuapuaka was in the midst of a bunch of Aggies who ward off that attempt there by Parson.
Good job by the defensive front of Utah State. Again, Ephraim Bandit loves that young man. You talked about being part of the Hawaii Visitors Bureau. He only came to the island of Oahu because of Hale. He was going to go to Kauai. He was going to go to Maui. But guess what? He loves the Gathering Island.
Here's Parson, breaks through, gets into the secondary, and he is iced out of bounds at the 22.
Parson showing the stuff we talked about, the versatility. 17 yards on that pickup, and a good block on the perimeter by Micah Vanterpool. Austin Hop out there on that right side as well.
Hunter Reynolds finally cutting Dedrick Parsons' path off. So Hawaii knocking on the red zone door. 1st and 10 at the 22. See the rushing yards, Hawaii over the century mark now. Tylen Hines in the backfield. We haven't seen a whole lot of carries for him, but he gets the rock on this occasion. Follows his blocker Manning, runs right into Manning, bounces off of Manning, gets first down yardage all the way to the 10.
Yeah, and Il Manning, right, when you're on the perimeter there and there's nobody to block, get upfield because there was a hole, and 24 is going to find it. 12 yards, you're going to see big 75 out there pulling, and then all of a sudden, he hits number 24 and he bounces off of him and makes positive yardage.
Yeah, he runs just a little different, doesn't he? Here's Hines again. And that time he's wrapped up, nothing doing. Byron Vaughn's saying,
Not in my house. Good tackle. Oh, the 6'4", 225-pound junior.
Yeah, Vaughn's spent 3 years in Texas before making his way to Logan, Utah.
Well, Utah State doing a nice job on the perimeter, right? First, you got to clog those inside gaps, and then you got to force it east and west. Good speed, good length at that defensive end position.
So 2nd and goal here for Hawaii. And this is Najee Bryant-Lele getting the carry. And he will fall forward for a couple.
Last week, Hawaii introduced that quarterback OGOH, right? Kind of power play. Haven't seen that this evening. Interesting call right here in the inside zone.
So Bryant-Lele remains out there as the single setback, standing right next to Shager. Third and goal, Shager looking to throw. Steps up, still surveying. Has room to run, but he'll fire to the end zone. It's broken up. Michael Onyanwu getting in the way of that one.
Really nice job downfield, right? The guy's in man coverage playing plaster. The guy who rats and hole. Now the late flag has been dropped.
Jalen Walthall, by the way, the intended receiver there. Walthall missed the last 2 games. He is back available for Hawaii.
This has to be a dead ball foul. This happened really late. Bill Manning's helmet is off, and
yeah, some extracurriculars have sprouted up here throughout the recent stages of this football game. Meanwhile,
personal foul, face mask, defense, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down. Number 75
that is
can stay
huge
in the game because the foul occurred against 75's helmet.
right. So in other words, if it didn't occur, he'd have to come out of the game. But since it was pulled off on the face mask, you're gonna get a chance to see it right there at the
foul was against number 96,
screen.
Utah State.
Just rips the helmet off.
Yeah, that's Pokesi Vakauta, and that was pretty egregious. I mean, he held on to that face mask of El Manning until he pried that helmet off, and that was pretty dangerous right there. And now Hawaii threatening for sure 1st and goal as they get a fresh breath of life. Bryant-Lele breaks the tackle, and he is in for 6.
Hawaii's design was go to this 2-man short side, unbalanced line. Lele cuts it all the way back, shows that power, and again, having a good game is Bryant-Lele. Here you see, watch the inside zone going to that 2-man side, cuts all the way back, and here's where you see the strength, the power, and lowering the shoulders.
Yeah, that was Hunter Reynolds who had the best shot at Najee Bryant-Lele, and Bryant-Lele said, Kaden broke the tackle, hits pay dirt, and all of a sudden, this is a football game with the scoreboard differing by just one touchdown. 24-17. Hawaii benefiting from the Utah State penalty. They make the Aggies pay.
University of Hawaii Sports on Spectrum Sports. Sponsored by Bank of Hawaii.
Welcome back. That scoring drive for Hawaii, 8 plays, 61 yards. Najee Bryant-Lele with the 4-yard touchdown run. It took 4 minutes, 16 seconds off the clock. Hawaii doing it with the rain starting to pelt Clarence T.C. Ching Athletic Complex field. A little harder here at this juncture of the game, but Hawaii needed that one, and they were helped along big time by a Pokesi Vakauta personal foul face mask penalty. And that gave Hawaii first and goal, and they took advantage.
So,
let's send it down to Scott Robbs. He has a special guest. What's up, Scott?
Well, he was known as a UH slotback. Now he's known as a lieutenant colonel who flies big planes over football stadiums. Britton Komine, former UH Rainbow Warrior. How exciting was that to fly that big C-17 over the stadium?
It was awesome. To be able to do that for the first time in Manoa was really exhilarating. Great to do it for Timmy's first year was a great event to have.
And how about being able to do that? You mentioned Timmy, you guys are teammates. I just saw you during the break, run over and give him a big hug.
Yeah.
How excited are you for Timmy Chang?
Very excited. Very excited with the excitement he's brought back to the community and to the program and to the brotherhood, right? And to have just the excitement back in Manoa is really special.
How long have you been in the military now?
17 years now.
Lieutenant Colonel, do you fly C-17s all the time?
I do. Yeah, it's my favorite. Yeah, I mean, it's an awesome aircraft to fly, a lot of fun, get to see a lot of different things and travel the world. It's great.
That was pretty exciting, a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll make it an annual thing then.
Perhaps, we'll see. Yeah, we'll get the request from the school and see what we can do.
All right, thanks a lot.
Right on, thanks.
Lieutenant Colonel Britton Komine, part of the flight crew of the C-17 in the flyover prior to kickoff. Guys?
Hey, thanks a lot, Scott. That was fantastic. And how good does Britton Komine look? He looks exactly like how he did when he was playing for UH.
he did. Like almost the Pac-5 days. I mean, that guy was a possession receiver, but really a productive guy and a great individual.
Well, this guy's been productive here in this ball game. Calvin Tyler Jr. finally being roped down by Meki Pei, but not before a first down and then some for Utah State. That was 20 yards on that run.
Going tempo, but they will look over to the sidelines, right? And make sure they get the right formation, the right play call. Do not allow you to substitute.
And it's Tyler again. You see, prior to that carry, 16 rushes, 94 yards, so approaching the century mark.
And Peter Manuma, when he comes up, sometimes he doesn't wrap, but the impact, you know, that he has, he's taking runners down to the mat.
Calvin Tyler, cousins with Kristen Michael, if you remember, was a running back in the NFL for 6 years. So there's some of that running gene somewhere in the family DNA as that pass is complete to Brian Cobbs. Good to see JoJo Forrest still doing his thing out there. Looked like he was possibly hurt in the first half on one of the plays, but seems to be okay, and that's a good sign.
Really nice timing on that X receiver, the single receiver to the boundary, running that comeback route.
Here's Tyler waiting patiently to see if the hold develops, but he is taken down by Tariq Jones, the 6'2" freshman from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Going back to the flyover, right? It kind of reminds me of another Rainbow Wahine, BJ Itoman.
Yes.
And good to see the former Rainbow Warriors and Wahine up there in the skies in the military.
BJ, who was actually in the house last night at the University of Hawaii basketball game. Britton Komine, part of the aerial assault that was the UH football offense, and now doing his thing, flying over Hawaii football games. What a sight to behold as that pass falls incomplete. You have number 8 guarding number 8, JoJo Forrest on Brian Cobbs.
808 in the 808, right? So you got great coverage. You have position. That's what's called in phase by JoJo Forrest. Oh, you're not going to give me no love on that one?
So the O would be for on, like 8 on 8.
There
Is that
you go,
okay? All right,
bro.
okay, all right. I got you. 3rd and 8 here for Utah State. Laga's going to keep it himself. And look at him just run through the line. He gets to the 21-yard line.
I said it before, a la Josh Allen. When do you run the quarterback on the power? When it's an important down, breaking tackles, hurdling guys. Quarterback design run, love it. Look at the athleticism. Big, strong guy.
Well, a find for Utah State. Logan Bonner goes down, and Logan Bonner will still, when he is healthy, probably get an opportunity to play football in some form at the next level. But Laga has stepped in, and he is developing into something fierce as Pene Pavihi with a fierce play defensively there for Hawaii.
Yeah, along with Kobe Wyatt, right, number 10. So they are going through some of their defensive ends. They are penetrating. They are attacking the line of scrimmage. It's raining out, and Jacob Euro is bringing it, the defensive coordinator.
So loss of 3 on the play. 2 TFLs for Pene in this game. Under 5 minutes to play in the 3rd. 2nd and 13, and that pass gets there to Terrell Vaughn. Breaks a tackle, twists and turns his way inside the 10.
Yeah, a little whip route. Actually, the coverage was great, but the throw was better. And again, I am just, after watching all the previous games, and they were 4 different quarterbacks, high snap to his right, reaches up, shows the athleticism, and then just throws a dime.
Vaughn coming off a career-high 83 receiving yards against New Mexico last week. Also had a 38-yard touchdown catch. As Robert Briggs gets the carry up the gut. 2nd and goal coming up here for the Aggies.
Spread out those receivers, run inside, try to thin that box out, get a little push up front. You're in the red zone. Now they stack the formation to their left, X, Y to the right.
How about some of that eye candy after the snap as the pass is complete to Briggs, and he'll be stopped short at about the 4. Mekhi Pay there defensively for Hawaii.
Yeah, that's a nice job by Mekhi because a lot of stuff is going on, right? You got that orbit motion, you got that play fake, which they carry out as well as I've seen in college football, and then throwing to that secondary wheel route. Mekhi Pay with a good tackle on the sideline.
Substitutions on both sides. So a big 3rd and goal here. Utah State trying to respond after the Hawaii touchdown.
5 for 11 on 3rd downs.
We got Sturzer in the H-back spot. The give is to Tyler, and he maneuvers across the goal line, and he's in for 6.
Yeah, that's
Rolling
big
on the
time
field.
push on that left
Touchdown.
side.
So 4-yard touchdown run, and the first touchdown for Utah State that didn't come on a pass in this game. Utah State goes the full 75. Calvin Tyler with his 3rd touchdown run of the season.
Offensive coordinator Anthony Tucker has to be pleased with how they responded, right? A little bit of adversity. Hawaii scores a touchdown. Utah State drives right down the football field.
Connor Cole's on for the PAT, and it is good. So Utah State going tit for tat in touchdowns here in half number 2. 31-17. Up 2 scores on the Bows. Welcome back. There is your scoring drive for Utah State. 13 plays, 75 yards. It goes 5 minutes and 43 seconds. And it ends on a Calvin Tyler Jr. 4-yard touchdown plunge. So 31-17 now, and Utah State getting ready to kick it away.
One of the things, talking to Coach Chang, he talked about his graduate assistants, right? Alema Kapoy, Jordan Pulu Robinson, PJ Manaya, Samson Angway, and talked about how important they were in bridging the coaching change, and also giving the opportunity for young coaches to get into this profession at the D1 level. Those guys are doing a nice job.
How about the touchdown drives for Utah State? They have all been 63 yards or longer. 3 of them 75 yards or longer. As Tylen Hines fields the kickoff. Hawaii's offense on the field when we return. Welcome back. 31-17 Utah State over Hawaii here in this Mountain West matchup. We got D1 Open Football semifinal action for you. Campbell and Kahuku Friday, 3:45. That is going to be a big-time matchup. Late game, Mililani and Punahou on Spectrum XCast. We're getting into that time of year, man. This is the blockbuster heavyweight matchups in state tournament time.
Very impressive last night, right? Waipahu and IA, and today my Kaiser Cougars went down to Waimea. It was not pretty. So if I'm feeling a little down up in the booth, you may not get a lot of Kaiser pride in me.
You've put a good face on to this point, my friend. And there's some movement prior to the snap.
Okay, but let's go back to this. Who are you picking in the open division?
Oh, putting me on the spot here. In the open division, I mean, I think you got to go with Kahuku, right?
Offside, number 94. Defense in the neutral zone, causing a reaction by the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
7th penalty against Utah State in this game.
Punahou is so well coached. They've got enough athletes. They've made it competitive. But I'll tell you what, Kahuku is loaded with Kai Carvalho going bye-bye. It's tough to defend those guys.
Well, and I think, you know, it might even be presumptuous to already assume that it's going to be Punahou and Kahuku in the final. Let's not overlook the possibility of what Mililani and Campbell could do here in the semifinal round. That throw is batted up and picked out of the air by Hunter Reynolds. What a play by Reynolds. He had a 55-yard fumble return for a touchdown last week.
First down.
And he comes up with his 3rd interception of the season right here.
Really a nice job of going through the receiver, attacking the ball, becoming the receiver. And if you had 1.8 million hits on TikTok on how to wear your pants, you'd be kind of excited right now, too.
That's right. Hunter Reynolds, he is a TikTok star.
Can you imagine 1.8 million views of just how to roll your pants up, your football pants up? That's impressive. It's amazing how you can get popular nowadays.
Also impressive, 6 tackles and a pick on the stat line for Reynolds, who spent 4 years at Michigan before making his way to Utah State. Calls South Orange, New Jersey his hometown. And so quick change here. Utah State going to work offensively. Robert Briggs getting the carry. So 2nd pick of the game for Braden Shager. The intended target on that play, by the way, was Tamatoa Mokiao Atimalala.
And how do you win football games, right? We talk about 3 turnovers for Hawaii, 0 for Utah State, more penalties for Hawaii, and then the 3rd down conversions offensively.
Here's Robert Briggs again. And so Utah State looks like they're going to start pounding the football. We saw them go to the air with high frequency in the first half. Cooper Lega with 3 touchdown passes in this game, but obviously with the time and score situation, looks like they're looking to pound it against Hawaii here late in this game.
Yeah, there's precipitation too, right? It started to rain. The ball gets, you know, it's tougher, a little tougher to throw the ball, but you're right. With this score and this type of possession type of game, they're going to run the rock.
Fake handoff here, though. Lega, forget running it. He heaves it deep, has a man in and out of the hands of his intended target, but we'll have a penalty flag. Jalen Royals, who almost had his first reception of the season right there, being covered by Verdell Edwards II, but
Pass interference, number 23. Defense, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic.
That's
first
kind
down.
of an iffy call, right? He's trying to get his eyes back. There wasn't a whole lot of contact. I've seen a lot worse. Verdell Edwards, the junior, has another season coming back.
it might serve Utah State well to throw it up to Jalen Royals. In high school, he was an all-state high jumper, cleared 6'4",
That is up there. That's some hops. Hops translates to speed, right? Vertical jump, 40-yard dash time.
First down on the penalty. The give is Calvin Tyler Jr. and just has an uncanny ability to stay on his feet after that first hit against the defense.
Yeah, you saw one of Hawaii's best tackles, if not the number 33, come up, break down, and hey, it's not easy in the open field. These guys have so much ability to transfer that power from the ground and make that vertical cut.
So red zone visit here for Utah State. They're 3 for 4 in the red zone, 2 touchdowns, a field goal. This one is sent to the corner with the intended target being Terrell Vaughn, but Malik Houseman in the area. Yeah, as part of the coverage there for Hawaii.
Yeah, Houseman's key, right? We talked to Timmy Chang about guys coming back that are so important to this program. And Houseman just has been so consistent. Watch him come off his man, become the receiver, and try to attack the football. The Arizona transfer.
So another third down conversion attempt here for Utah State. They're 50% here tonight.
UH only 1 for 7 on third down, and that's been a big difference, right? You got to win on third down.
Timeout. Utah State.
And we're going to have a Utah State timeout. The story of Utah State here, especially under head coach Blake Anderson, is pretty remarkable. Won their first ever Mountain West championship game last season. They defeated San Diego State in the Mountain West title game. Then defeated Oregon State 24-13 in the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. Tied a program record with 11 wins, became the first FBS program to go from 1 win the previous season. They went 1-5 in 2020, that abridged college football season, to 11 wins the following year. I mean, just really, really incredible stuff. And according to Blake Anderson, he says, obviously, when you're trying to sell your program, and he likened Logan, Utah in a different way to being unique, kind of like life here in the state of Hawaii. When you're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, it's a different kind of culture and lifestyle. He says, when you're trying to sell a program like that, you want to be able to tell recruits, we can win titles.
Yeah, and send guys to the National Football League, right? And then if you look at the history of Utah State, guys win their coaches and they get big jobs, big money, and they're hoping that Blake Anderson stays around for a few years.
Well, Lega finally got Legat by Blessman Ta'ala and Andrew Choi.
You love to see Andrew Choi. He talks to his brother every game, texts him, calls him Zeno Choi about his performance, his technique, and there's 55 as well, Blessman Ta'ala.
3 tackles and a sack now for Andrew Choi. And Connor Cole's on for the field goal attempt. This is a 42-yard attempt for Coles.
This is huge because he'll make it a 3-score game.
One was blocked. He made another. And this one is good. Made it look easy. And it's now 34-17. Utah State, 42 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. So now Hawaii has quite the uphill climb to try to endeavor here to see if they can make this a ball game. A little over 15 minutes left.
Yeah, and talking to Blake Anderson, he also mentioned the facilities, right? He said it's kind of a arms race in college football. You don't have to have facilities like the SEC, but having nice facilities, having culture, having winning percentages, going to bowl games, sending guys to the National Football League, that's why guys go to Utah State.
Yeah, it's interesting because many around the Utah State program, they point to an earlier meeting with Hawaii. You go back to 2011. They said that was actually a meeting that is widely considered a turning point for the Aggies program. In that game, Utah State trailed 28-7 at halftime. They rallied to win 35-31. Robert Turbin had the game-winning 1-yard TD plunge in the last few seconds. I think 14 seconds left on the clock. The Aggies were 2-5 before that game. Hadn't been to a bowl game since '97. Won 5 straight to end the season, 7-5 to qualify for a bowl game, and that would ignite a run of 5 straight bowl appearances. And we mentioned if they win their final 3 games and become bowl eligible this season, it would be the 10th time in the last 12 years that they'd accomplish that feat. So kind of interesting how they look at the Hawaii program as one of the key moments where they turned their fortunes as a football team and a football institution around.
I think I had a good view of that game, and it was really a turning point for Utah State because of the comeback, because of their belief system, and it wasn't pleasant.
There was a defensive assistant on that UH coaching staff by the name of Rich Miano. I'm not saying it was you.
Yeah, they were running the ball. We were shutting down the pass. I remember that game vividly.
There's Dedrick Parson on the carry.
You mentioned Robert Turbin had all those yards, right? So, you know, we take away the pass, we assist on the run.
Hey, your reputation is intact. Do not worry, my friend. Dedrick Parson, by the way, he's into double digits in rushes, 11 for 68. Only 4 carries for Tylan Hines here in this game. It's almost as if we're trending in the opposite direction from what we've seen the previous 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I have a theory there, right? Either he's in the witness protection plan or they don't want to give him a whole bunch of carries because some other Power 5 conference will give him an NIL and he'll no longer be in Manoa.
Oh, interesting. You're talking about keeping it like low profile. All right. The Miano conspiracy theory. 34-17. We played 3 quarters. Hawaii on the comeback trail, but they have much work to do. 15 minutes to try to pull it off. Welcome back. Time now for the Hawaii Honda Dealers highlight reel. And we are looking at Hawaii getting into the end zone via Najee Bryant-Lele. And running back for the other side, Calvin Tyler Jr. 4-yard plunge of his own. So the running back's getting a little bit of action here in this second half. And then the kick by Connor Coles. And that accounts for the second half scoring. 34-17, Utah State on top. Hawaii trying to set up the screen here. Caleb Phillips on the receiving end. And a good defensive play by Michael Anyanwu. He has been all over the place here in this football game. Penalty flag, though down in the backfield.
You're going to see the orbit motion, right?
Personal
Then you
foul.
see the Y screen.
Roughing the passer, number 8. Defense.
Yeah, that was
15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Automatic.
And that is Hale Motuapuaka. We mentioned the heart and soul of this team, the alpha as he is referred to. He is called for the roughing the quarterback penalty.
Look at Blake, not pleased with the alpha male. Why would you do that?
Motuapuaka, by the way, a 3-time world fire knife men's division champion.
I said 2 at the beginning of the show, so unless he's won one in the last couple of hours, I could be wrong, but usually not.
Here is Dedrick Parson. Look at him still pumping the legs. They never actually take him down, but he's ridden out of bounds by Ike Larson.
Dedrick really having a good football game, averaging over 6 yards per carry. That one was good for 13.
Always conjuring up the conspiracy theories, my man, Rich Miano. You're like Mianon.
See, Dedrick hitting that hole.
Throw by Shager intended for Jonah Panoke, incomplete.
Yeah, Panoke, the leading receiver, right? Had 5 for 70 in the first half and scored his first career touchdown, which I'm still going to check the record books. I'm not sure where you get your information from. Is it Derek Anucci or because that guy had to have got in the end zone prior to tonight. Maybe I just have a high opinion of him.
Well, I mean,
remember the high school career?
He's been part of the program for some time. Here's Parson again. Oh, maybe if he breaks that tackle, he goes for big-time yards, but Kaleo Nevis put an end to it. Nevis, whose brother Kahi played defensive line at San Diego State.
Yeah, and, you know, they're down by 3 scores, but these are quick-hitting running plays. They had limited success through the air, but, you know, again, there's 3 possessions. They need to score points.
Here's Parson, and he trudges forward for another first down. So, yeah, Hawaii deciding, hey, look, we're able to run against this defense, it appears. Dedrick Parson, the point of attack on that. And they're moving the sticks here, Rich Miano.
They're moving the sticks, but methodically, right? And you've got to strike the ball vertically. They're seeing the too high look, so the proper read by Braden Shager, if he's getting the chance to audible, is to run the football. But again, situational football is important.
Here's Tylen Hines. For a guy of his size, he is tough to take down. Gets to the 31-yard line. That's a gain of about 4.
They're going quick offensively, but
they're also emptying the backfield. Look, 4 wide to the near side. They get it to Mokiao Atimalala. Can't handle the pass. It's on the ground. They're going to say it was a lateral, or at least they're letting the play out. It's recovered by Utah State. But I think there's going to have to be a decision as to whether or not that was a forward pass or a lateral.
On the field is a forward pass, incomplete, 3rd down.
That's what I thought.
And it looked from our vantage point that that was the right call, but the officials are encouraged to let those types of plays play out so there isn't any inadvertent whistle that would disrupt a play that should go the other way.
Yeah, when you look at his hips, Braden Shager, when you look at the direction of his arms, that ball was forward. And it's nice that I made a decision so quickly and you didn't call me on it. And
very committed there.
Third down at the 31.
Right, we saw quads that last play out of the skeleton formation. That's a little different.
So 3rd and 6, you see Hawaii 1 for 7 on 3rd down. They converted one earlier on this drive. Shager steps up over the middle. Caleb Phillips was the intended target, but it falls helplessly incomplete. And so a 4th and 6, and this is one of those things, right? You're down 3 scores, so maybe you consider kicking the field goal here. You need to score 3 times anyway.
Yeah, Everbander was bringing pressure off the left side, right? But that's a quick slant. That's the simplest throw in football. There wasn't a lot of pressure. Is it a drop? Did it go through his hands, or was it a poor throw? But interesting, because Hawaii has struggled on that. Maybe a little alligator arms.
4th down here for Hawaii. 1 for 1 on 4th down in this game. Shager, they need it. He looks down the field. It is Caleb Phillips. Talk about atoning. Immediately, 31 yards, and the big fella holds it in.
Bowling on the field, a touchdown.
Running down the sideline, posting up in the paint. This is a phenomenal throw. Clean pocket, nice trajectory, 85, big time catch.
I think he heard you on the possible alligator arms. He says alligator that, laying out for the tough catch in traffic. And Hawaii keeping its hopes alive here with 12:26 left to play.
The officials just reviewing, make sure that ball was caught in bounds.
2nd touchdown pass for Braden Shager.
Call on the field was a touchdown.
So here's Matt Shipley for the extra point.
All scoring plays reviewed.
And it is booted through, and it is back down to a 10-point differential. How about the onions on 4th down? Braden Shager unleashing it. And Caleb Phillips, the former Stanford Cardinal. All good. Welcome back. A much-needed response by Hawaii. 11-play scoring drive, 75 yards, 3 minutes, 16 seconds. And on 4th down, Braden Shager is able to find Caleb Phillips for the touchdown.
That was big. That was much needed. And I was talking about the kind of meticulous deliberation of running the football, and then they strike long on 4th down. 2 for 2 on 4th down. Probably Hawaii's best down is 4th down. So you know what the best formation is?
I believe
victory formation.
I believe they're now 2 for 2 on 4th down.
Yes, 2
are
for
the
2.
Rainbow Warriors. So yeah, Kyler Halverson then boots it into the end zone, and now it is incumbent on this Rainbow Warrior defense to try to conjure up some stops as we take a look at the Heineken head-to-head stat line, and we're looking at the 2 QBs here, and they've put in pretty strong showings for the most part. Cooper Legado with the edge, 3 touchdowns, 238 yards passing on 16 of 24. Shager not too shabby, though. 16 of 27, 185 yards, 2 TDs, and 2 picks. And he has been hampered by some drops that, frankly, should have been caught.
Yeah, it's the 2 picks, right? You take away that, and this is probably his best game. But he's made every throw that you can make as a quarterback, and that's the most perplexing thing is you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have interceptions, or else you're a game manager, but you got to make smart decisions.
Legal over the middle. That's incomplete. Disrupted by Verdell Edwards.
Verdell Edwards showing that length, showing that athleticism, the hips, the footwork. Take away the inside, driving through the upfield, showed a real nice job staying in the pocket.
So 2nd and 10. This is a give to Tyler. How patient a runner is he, just waiting for his blockers to try to set up some kind of seam. That's Tariq Jones on the defensive stop.
Nice to see Tariq Jones, and there you see Meki Pay, you see Jonah Kahavai Welch, and that's a good series thus far, right? You won on 1st down with the incompletion.
On the field.
You won on 2nd down.
And we have a player down. That's Alfred Edwards. He's the left tackle. 6'7", 325-pound grad student, 6th year with his program. So they're taking a look at him. We're going to take a timeout as well. Just under 12 minutes to play. Oh, what, you down 10? And welcome back. Here, there's John Ursua, former University of Hawaii pass catcher. Brother Jared, of course, wide receiver coach for the University of Hawaii, but he's back in the house.
Think Hawaii could use that guy? Remember the University of Massachusetts game where I think he had over 200 yards receiving. He was up there with some of the best receivers in recent history.
Yeah, and probably would be up there with the Seattle Seahawks right now had it not been for some unfortunate injury and certainly coming at bad times in his professional career. But that is one talented dude.
Yeah, Jared's doing a great job. I watch him with the receivers. There's been a lot of injuries, a lot of young guys.
Hawaii bringing the heat. Meki Pay pulverizing Cooper Lega in the backfield.
Yeah, when you see a safety coming up the A gap, right? That's rolling the dice. You see Logan Taylor occupying the guard, and then Meki Pay wisely comes off the defensive tackle's hips, and that's that double A gap blitz. Great call by Jacob Euro.
Yeah, roll the dice, and it winds up a payday. His part of his 2nd sack of the game. 1.5 sacks and 8 tackles. And that comes at a very opportune time for Hawaii as Utah State punts it away.
They came after that punt. They almost got there.
Nick Senecal was back to receive. They'll let it trickle to a stop at the 24. So a huge defensive possession there for Hawaii. And now their offense has a chance to cut further into this deficit.
Big time punt, right? You just really let that thing roll. Kind of like when I hit my knockdown shot, little top spin.
You are batting 1,000 when it comes to
I
getting a
challenged
golf
you on Monday
reference
to play,
in.
and you said you were sick. I don't know about that one.
I don't know what to tell you, all right? It's not like I was lying. 1st and 10. There's Parson. He gets 3 yards on that carry. So it has been heavy Dedrick Parson here in this game. Dedrick Parson, a senior, started his career at Howard, but he is slow to get up.
Timeout for an injured offensive player.
He's sort of pumping that ankle, it looks like.
It was definitely a good hit.
Oftentimes Parson is the one delivering the hit more so than the defensive player, but here you're right. There's a nice little collision at the end, kind of.
Wasau pulling, you got Caleb Phillips blocking up.
Yeah, and right there at the end, kind of ran into the thigh of Dominic Tatum. And so Parson off the field. Najee Bryant-Lele in the game.
Which having a big night.
He's got 47 yards and a touchdown on 3 carries. This pass to Bowens, and he's got it.
What a
Rolling on the field is a catch. 1st down.
Perfect coverage, perfect throw. Great job by Zebo. Getting almost horizontal on this one.
With Andre Grayson just hanging all over him, Zion Bowens able to still pull it down. 28-yard connection there, and now they're going to whistle it dead. They got a penalty flag thrown across the way.
False start, number 66. Offense. Not all 11 players were set, which turned it into a false start. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So you got to be set for a second, right? And Timmy Chang, Ian Shoemaker, they all talk about offensively, not playing behind the chains, not having mistakes on first down. Can they overcome playing behind the chains?
Now 9 penalties for Hawaii, totaling 105 yards. You have 17 total penalties in this game. I mentioned Utah State, the most penalized team in the Mountain West Conference coming in. Bryant Lele off of the toss. And he gets a few. Daniel Greshik.
This is a nice job, right? He's playing the quarterback and has enough speed and lateral mobility to play the pitch into the boundary.
Yeah, he spent 4 years at Nevada before heading to Utah State.
That was impressive.
We mentioned the team leader in sacks. And yeah, this is a guy who comes highly touted by this Utah State coaching staff.
A speed option right into the boundary with only one defender. That should be a win for Hawaii.
2nd and 12. Shager drops back, fires to the far side. It's a perfect strike. Jalen Walthall on the receiving end.
Deep out, right? About 12-yard out. Jalen Walthall, number 4, that young freshman receiver. Again, a beautiful strike. One of the toughest balls to throw is that deep out. It requires you to be able to spin it. Big time throw by Braden Shager.
13 yards, Warrior, first down.
Yeah, showing some of that arm strength on that throw. 1st and 10. Empty backfield, Shager. He's going to dump it down. Checks down to Hines, but he can't hang on to it, and he takes a wallop by Omario Keke at the end of that play.
Yeah, Hines was the 4th receiver right in that quads look. He went down for protection, came back out to the flat. He becomes the check down receiver, and this ball again is thrown right in his hands, and 24 drops it, takes his eyes off it, looks upfield. Those are the type of plays that hurt drives.
And just aesthetically speaking, a lot of empty backfields we're seeing here as of late for Hawaii. This is looking like a much more run and shoot like offense. Shager steps up in the pocket, heaves it over the defender, caught by Walthall, and Hawaii with another red zone visit.
There's a penalty marker on the field, but anyone that thinks Braden Shager cannot spin it.
Number 75, offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still second down.
That was a great throw. Unfortunate. 75 with, I think, his 3rd penalty of this evening.
Offensive holding been called about 2.3 times per game, slightly down this season, but it bites Hawaii there. And yeah, one of those calls, right? You can call it theoretically on any play. That time, though, it costs Hawaii significantly.
Braden Shager's throwing strikes out there.
10 penalties, 120 yards for Hawaii. Shager. Oh, that one dangerous as he threw in the direction of Kaleo Nevis.
Yeah, and you see all the white jerseys coming in unobstructed. That usually is a screen. One person does his job and covers the receiver. Look at the pressure. Again, ball's thrown a little bit to the left of Tylen Hines.
And it's not always just the penalties or the miscues themselves. Sometimes it's the timing of those miscues.
The execution, right? And the timing of the miscues in terms of this is a very important drive for the Warriors.
It's a handoff. This is Hines. He is wrapped up by Vongpachon. And again, Hawaii 3rd and long. The clock is very much an enemy now of the Rainbow Warriors. They are pretty far out in terms of field goal range. They do need 2 scores, but What do you think about this play call here?
Well, that's one of those scenarios, right, where he's already got the okay to run a play on 4th down based upon field position. But it's just with the Shager throwing the ball so well, it's surprising the ball does not get in the air and go aerial.
Any more 4th down good fortune remaining for Hawaii? They're 2 for 2 on 4th down here in this game. 4th and 17. Shager throwing deep, incomplete. Bowens was airborne. Andre Grayson was face guarding him, and that puts an end to that Hawaii drive.
Yeah, you were asking for that Manoa magic, right? 2 for 2 on 4th down. Deep throw, not a bad throw, but a really nice job by the defensive back. Playing the hands in the eyes.
So Hawaii still 7 minutes, 25 seconds left. They have 3 timeouts, but again, they need 2 scores.
And I think you're going to see Utah State run the football, try to get some clock off.
This is a handoff. This is Terrell Vaughn out of the backfield, and he gets rolled up by Logan Taylor.
Nothing more demoralizing to a defense when you know the offense is going to run the ball. You can't stop them. You can't allow 7 yards on 1st down.
Taylor now up to 13 tackles. He has just been a tackling machine. Here's Tyler, and he's going to be stopped short of the 1st down, about a couple yards shy. Pene Pavihi disrupting that play. So again, the defense, they need to stop.
Yeah, they do. And anytime you see Pavihi, the inside backer, making a tackle, give credit to Blessman Ta'ala, because there's a constant double team on 55. Big JT in the middle of that defense.
3rd and 2. Crowd trying to pitch in here for the Hawaii D. The give is Tyler, and he is rudely met, and he is going to be stopped shy of midfield.
Initially, you had penetration by Blessman Ta'ala, but then there was Andrew Choi, the student athlete, doing his job.
And so 4th down, Hawaii holds.
Good swim by Blessman. And you see Andrew Choi getting off the block. Malik Hausman, the undersized nickelback.
Remember, though, Blake Anderson, not one to shy away from some trickery. He ran a fake field goal, fake punt last week against New Mexico. He says he'll do everything it takes. They're not pulling any tricks here, though, and the punt is going to hit the turf and bounce into the end zone for a Hawaii touchback.
And that's where you have defense stays, right? Whenever you're around midfield in that dangerous territory, leave your defense on the field. They know how to play offensive trick type of formations. And guess what? That's what Hawaii did. Good call by Timmy Chang and that staff.
So all things considered, Hawaii unable to produce anything on that last offensive possession. The defense, though, fills the bill. 5:28 left. Hawaii still has 3 timeouts, down 2 scores.
Yeah, and I'm letting that guy rip it right there. I mean, he's shown that he can make all the throws. A couple of bad decisions, but again, you're a game manager if you don't throw that 50-50 ball sometimes.
34 attempts so far for Shager. He's hit on half of them. This throw over the middle is complete to Walthall. And he is tripped up by Anyanwu.
Walthall showing that speed, got a lot of length. He's a young freshman getting better and better on a weekly basis.
So 2nd and 3 after the 7-yard gain. This is a handoff to Hines. And he's able to muscle his way for a 1st down. Hawaii, you can see some of the urgency in the way that they are running back to the line of scrimmage. They're going to need a little get up and go here over this last 5 minutes. Down 10. Shager unloads, and that's incomplete. Was looking in the direction of Zebo.
Really nice coverage on the comeback route. Tylen Hines chipping in protection, then releasing out. You got Kawali Nishigaya in that route.
2nd and 10. You see the total offensive numbers. How about that? Dead even.
It's the turnovers, right? It's the 3rd down conversions.
Shager looks the other way and it's picked off. Intercepted by Ike Larson, and he's history.
Just as I talked about turnovers, what a play from the defensive back.
Coming on the field, an interception, return for a touchdown.
Showing great hands, 37 yards on that return. Great athleticism, great anticipation, great technique.
Ike Larson, little Grand Larson on that pass, taking it back to the house, and Utah State may have just sealed the deal right there.
Fans are dissipating out of the stadium.
A point after is good. And so Utah State now up 41-24. Ike Larson, what a night he's put together. 3 tackles, 1 for a loss, and 2 interceptions, including that pick 6. Taken the other way, 36 yards on the Braden Shager pass. Shager now has been picked off 3 times in this game. And that one, you could just sort of sense in the crowd. You see a few of the fans starting to matriculate towards the exits. That one felt like a backbreaker.
Deflating. This amount of time in the game, and they were down by 2 scores. Now it's looking bleak.
Yeah, the turnovers doing Hawaii in tonight. 4 turnovers leading to Utah State points. Nick Senecal on the return.
Didn't see Alex Perry tonight. Oh, you might see him, the young, tall freshman receiver.
So according to our stats, 10 points off of those Hawaii turnovers.
That's the difference in the ball game, right? I mean, obviously leading by more than that, but that's been huge.
So here's Hines. Dominic Tatum first to meet him. And so this starts to feel unfortunately familiar here for this team, right? They put up what can be described as a pretty decent fight. You had the offense in a position down the stretch to maybe make this a game. And then the disastrous play, and now it is Timmy Chang having to consider what he is going to tell his team after this game concludes, as a penalty flag is thrown.
No question, tough for Timmy Chang. You know, this will be the 4th loss in a row for the Rainbow Warriors.
Offside, number 4, defense, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Meanwhile, Utah State keeping its bowl eligibility hopes alive. They have a couple of games left, and they're a couple of toughies. They got San Jose State at home next week, and then they're at Boise State to wrap up the regular season.
Yeah, and you remember when I talked to Blake Anderson about what do they do different traveling because they have such success on the road. Wow, nice throw, great catch.
Zebo on the receiving end there. He's been making dynamic
Rolling
catches all evening long.
For a 1st down.
Yeah, and dynamic throws too, right? And that's why it's so perplexing to Ian Shoemaker and Timmy Chang, because you got the 3 interceptions, but you got throws like this that very few people can make.
The rolling on the field is a completed catch for a 1st down. Previous play
of the safety,
further review.
And that foot gets down, but it's close to the sidelines. I don't know.
This is gonna.
He's right there, though. Look at the official with the protocol, bending the knees.
You also have a Utah State player down that looks to be Patrick Joyner Jr. He is down back at the Hawaii 27.
Looks like a cramp, though, right? They're massaging the calf. They're working
So this is a 25-yard reception pending the confirmation.
Wow, this should be a heck of a catch.
He does get the foot down, but are the toes inbound?
It looks like there's white on white in terms of the front of those cleats. I think that this is going to be overturned. George.
Oh, yeah, let's open up the mic here for George Gussman. He, of course, is our Spectrum Sports rules analyst. All right, give us the rundown here, the heel to toe, and what constitutes the catch in that situation.
Where obviously he has control. The body part inbounds. At this point, we're looking, replay's looking at that heel and then the toe. If there's any green in between, official is in great position to make that call in real time. At this point, I would say the play would stand as called as a complete pass. That's tough to see.
All right, well, we appreciate that, George. Yeah, so that's one of those. They are looking in most instances at the same replay angles that we are looking at.
I think it's
after
being
review,
overturned.
the receiver did not get a foot down in bounds. It's an incomplete pass. It's going to be 3rd down and 3 from the 31-yard line.
Wow.
My eyesight's just a little better than George Gussman's. You didn't ask me, and I'm not offended because he knows the rules.
George, you're not going to let him talk to you like that, are you?
That was very tight.
2010
That was
vision.
very close.
Rich Miano takes no prisoners.
It's tough being your sidekick. I'm going to that Tamua concert tomorrow night, and I expect you to be opening up front.
Oh, big hole for Hines. Tylen Hines off to the races. See
No
you
one's
later.
catching him. Wow, that was explosive. Tylen Hines is a breakout star.
69 for Hines.
Just recently let out of the witness protection program. God, is that guy quick. He's different. You could put him at slot. You could put him at X. He's a former receiver. He blocks well, but look at the speed and the ability to make people miss. Wow.
I mean, he's running away
Nobody's
from
catching
those
him.
defensive backs.
Nobody caught him in Michigan.
And just like that, Hawaii back to within a
Onside
couple
kick.
of scores. 3:33 left. As deflating as that last pick six was, that touchdown, at least a semblance of encouragement here for the fans that remain.
Hawaii still has those 3 timeouts, right?
Correct. Career-long run for Tylen Hines. He sort of made it his business to run across a lot of real estate. 54-yard touchdown run, if you remember, against Michigan. You alluded to that,
Yeah,
Rich.
and then Timmy Chang talked about that, right? That's when they first realized what they had, and they wanted to continue to get him carries. He hasn't got a lot of touches today, but that's explosive. I think the officials are checking to see what his speed was on that, because I don't know what else they're looking at.
So what they're looking at, we are being told, is whether or not Tylen Hines dropped the ball
We've seen that.
prior to crossing the goal line. And they confirmed the call. That happened in a Utah game, right? A few years back.
Happened in the National Football League, happens in high school football.
So the PAT is good. Hawaii ties a season high 31 points. Here's another look at Tylen Hines. Now you see him. Now you don't.
He's going to catch that official. Wow, he's fast.
The longest run of the
Ooh,
season
that's close.
for the Rainbow Warriors. But look at where he drops the football. Does he get... Oh.
I'm shocked that
My
wasn't
goodness.
overturned.
My
Oh,
goodness.
Keiki Masapeka, the running back coach, is going to school him on that one. Unless that's an optical illusion.
Yeah, that angle isn't true down the perspective of the goal line, so it's kind of hard to judge.
Wow.
But
too close for
just
comfort.
playing with fire. This is young, speedy freshman Tylan Hines.
Wow. There'll be a film session where, Tylan, we appreciate your athleticism, but make sure you score before you celebrate. Onside kick. Kyler Halverson.
So 3:33 left. Hawaii within 10. That last drive, 3 plays, 76 yards, 54 seconds came off the clock. Onside, easily handled. It was Quinton Hadnot, the 6-foot sophomore wide receiver, as part of the hands team, and Utah State controls here.
Didn't get that pop like he got a few weeks ago, right, where it goes pop, pop, bang, and it really explodes off the ground. It's a tough art in itself, the onside kick.
So Hawaii still with 3 timeouts. You start using them here on these plays?
Unless it's a big gain on first down.
Well, they're able to stop Calvin Tyler Jr.
Timeout, Hawaii.
And so as you
First
alluded
and a
to,
half,
Hawaii
30
going to
seconds.
signal for the timeout. They're going to stop the clock. And they're going to hang on to these slim hopes here down 10 with just under 3.5 minutes to go. How do you characterize this performance, at least to this point, by this Hawaii team this evening?
You see so much brilliance in Shager's ability to throw that great throw, and then you see 3 interceptions. You see the offensive line playing so well, and yet they're highly penalized. It's something that Hawaii is not talented enough, not efficient enough to win games unless they really play well.
Yeah, a bit of a step back on the discipline front. Season high in penalty yardage for Hawaii, 115 penalty yards charged on 10 penalties. 2nd and 10.
Drop balls.
Laga goes down. Andrew Choi.
Choi having a great game.
Timeout, Hawaii, 2nd of the half.
And you got to give this
30
defense
seconds.
some credit here down the stretch, trying to keep Hawaii's hopes alive.
Yeah, they bring in
Put
Mekhi Pay. They got
319.
that double A gap blitz. Defensively, they're rolling the dice, and it's come out big for them.
5 tackles, 1.5 sacks on Andrew Choi's stat line.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's had that since his junior year at Kaiser.
Such a good story, was placed on scholarship prior to the San Diego State game.
Didn't play his senior year. There was no high school football at Kaiser that year. Came to an all-star game on Kauai where he was the MVP. But you talk about a self-made individual. There's no genetics in his family besides the brother that has the lineage, has not played football. This is like first generation.
And off to Tyler. Trying to bounce outside. Peter Manuma meets him there at the line of scrimmage. That's going to bring up 4th down. Hawaii will use its last timeout. They still have 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Down 10. The offense about to get the ball back.
Yeah, and that's another guy, right, that you hope remains in a Rainbow Warrior uniform for his whole career, because look at that tackling technique. Come to balance, get that good wide base, lower the hips, rip wrap, grabbing cloth, keeping the head up. Really nice tackle. He could play rugby. Hawk tackling. I mean, hey, I've seen crazier things happen, right?
Oh,
The
sure.
taunting, well use of Hawaii's timeouts. They're going to come after this.
Stephen Kotzenle gets it off. Not a lot of pressure there. Nick Senecal back to receive the punt, and he catches it along the sideline at about the 10. So Hawaii has a long way to traverse to get to the end zone. They're down 2 scores, mind you.
Special teams coach Nick Paramiski, right? What he does there in that situation, that scenario, one step, get it off quickly. No Hawaii's trying to go for that punt block. Really a nice job in terms of operational get-off time. Under 2 seconds.
Hawaii with 243 rushing yards. You have 96 yards for Parson on 15 carries, 97 yards and a touchdown for Tylan Hines on just 9 touches. Najee Bryant-Lele, 4 carries for 50 yards. And yeah, Tylan Hines, he's averaging 10.8 yards per carry. But Hawaii in a throwing situation here, and Braden Shager able to get it out to Zion Bowens, who quickly steps out of bounds. Hawaii without any timeouts remaining.
3-man rush, right? You drop in 8. That's called 3 Cleo. The corner stays in the flat and sinks back. The safety goes to the deep third. And what does Shager do? He throws a perfect ball.
Season high in total yards and rushing yards for Hawaii in this game. They're up to 470. Shager hit, lets it go, and he avoids the sack.
They're talking now. Outside of the pocket, was there a receiver? Did the ball cross the line of scrimmage?
And that was Ike Larson, who has just been wreaking havoc, and now the flag comes out.
Number 13, offense. The quarterback was out of the pocket. However, the ball did not cross the line of scrimmage. Lost it down. 2nd down.
Ike Larson, again, just causing all kinds of pilikia here.
Please reset the game clock to 2 minutes.
Yeah, you watch that inside pressure, right? And they're trying to find a gap. You're going to see the coverage of the all-22 and vertical passing game back somewhat in the vicinity, but ball does not cross the line of scrimmage.
So 2nd and 21. Shager. That one incomplete. Again, was looking at Bowens. Flag comes out, interestingly enough. Not very surprising, of course.
Only a 4-man rush, but they're running games up front. TEETs.
Pass interference. Number 6, offense. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
Offensive pass interference against Zebo.
I talk to George Gushman about this all the time. Not a lot of offensive pass interference calls. As a former defensive back coach, George and I will go back and forth on that one. The most undercalled call in all of football.
So now 3rd and 21. Shager running out of time in the pocket, and that is caught by Walthall. Was he inbounds? They're going to say that he was.
Rolling on the field as a catch.
And that gets Hawaii within a yard of the first down.
Short of the line to gain. 4th down.
20-yard reception. You talk about dragging the foot. What a spot throw that was, under duress.
So another 4th down conversion attempt coming up for Hawaii. This one, though, just
rolling on the field is a completed catch, short of the line to gain. Previous play is under further review.
I think he check that catch.
I'd like to see the replay, but I think he drags that 1 foot.
So pending this decision, 4th and 1 here for Hawaii. Yeah, the call again on the field is a catch, so they have to see something conclusive to over. And I don't think there's anything in that there is reason to, and yeah, it looks like that foot is down.
I think it's clean.
That's an incredible catch by Jalen Walthall, the 6'1" freshman from Houston. Did not play the last couple of games.
You know, and that's when you talk to coaches around the Mountain West Conference, even in blowout losses, Hawaii never quits. They keep playing hard, and that's why they think Timmy Chang has a chance to rebuild this squad.
Walthall, a guy who has had his moments of unfortunate dropped passes, but he is sure-handed here and then has the wherewithal to keep that foot down.
The wherewithal?
Oh boy. I mean, wow. I mean,
a little stretch there. A little play on words.
After review, the ruling on the field of a catch is confirmed. Will the game clock operator please reset the clock to 2 minutes, 19 seconds.
I need to know.
You are in rare form tonight, my friend.
But I need to know if my percentage of calls correct is greater than the official, George Custer.
Oh, okay.
We're somewhere in the same ballpark.
Is somebody keeping a tally of that somewhere?
Tommy Yoshida is, and he's not here.
3 catches, 40 yards for Walthall. And it effectively comes down to this for Hawaii. 4th and 1, closing in on 2 minutes to play, down 2 scores. Shager takes the snap, gives it to Parson, gets the first down, rolled up at the 40. Hawaii cannot stop the clock. It will pause momentarily to move the sticks.
And when the ball's set, they'll start the clock up, wind it down.
And Parson over the century mark. 16 rushes, 101 yards. Shager looking downfield, has a man, it's Jordan Murray, it's broken up! Had it in his grips, and Hunter Reynolds popped it out of there.
What a throw, what a hit. Wow, ball placement. Jordan Murray, number 7, the big H-back. Good job on the defensive side of the football. That's how you coach it up.
Another great throw by Shager. 6 tackles, a PBU, and an interception for Reynolds. That throw by Shager in the area of Walthall, but he had fallen down to the field.
Exactly right. So you talk about guys falling down, guys dropping balls, and then a couple poor decisions, but Shager has had some highlight throws and still got 1:35 remaining.
He's got the 3 picks. He has the pick 6 that he threw. But yeah, I think there's enough here on tape from Braden Shager tonight to make you think there is a lot that this guy can do. And there's a lot of potential to his high ceiling. Looking downfield. Hat comes off of one Utah State defender. Here's Koali Nishigaya making the catch. We have not seen him for some time. Timmy Chang and the coaching staff hell-bent on trying to maintain his redshirt status, keep him under the maximum of 4 games. He has played 2. This is now his 3rd 13-yard connection. But when this guy is on the field, he just seems to do positive things.
Especially in run and shoot 10 personnel situations, right? It's like the back of his hands. He's learned so much about how to come back on scrambles, route, sitting down in zones, and getting open and not afraid to make the big catch.
Oh, you're running out of time here. Great block there to protect Shager. He completes it to Nishigaya, out of bounds after they move the sticks. But how about the block picked up by Tylen Hines?
Yeah, you're right, because there are games going on. There is pressure coming. And guess what? Between that offensive line and the back, in terms of sliding protection, they're doing a nice job. And then what does Shager do? He waits for those mesh concepts, those crossing routes to come open, stands in the pocket, takes hits. Really some good stuff by Braden Shager.
Timeout.
17-yard connection there.
30 seconds.
Timeout, Utah State. Hawaii with 514 yards of total offense. 277 through the air, 237 on the ground. If you had been told that that would be the offensive production in yardage by this Hawaii offense, you would be thinking that this score would be flipped, right?
Yeah, and this is, again, Braden Shager with run and shoot concepts. Timmy Chang implementing those concepts, showing the ability to score points, move the football, and I think this is kind of a coming out. They've done it previously in some games, but this is the most we've seen out of this 10 personnel look.
First and 10, Shager. Over the middle, this is Hines. Hines hits the turbo boost inside the 5, stretches for the goal line. He will be marked down just short, a yard shy of the end zone.
He picks up his feet, he breaks tackles, he catches the ball. Watch him just step out of that tackle, and then the ability to make people miss and bleed yardage.
Hines is electric, and he has Hawaii knocking on the door.
29 yards.
And this is Najee Bryant Lele. Does he get in? No, he is stopped short. Hawaii needs to get back up to the line in a hurry.
Because there's no timeouts. The clock is ticking. They had to get in the end zone.
under 50 seconds. It's Brian Lele again. He's hit for a loss.
This is going to chew up a lot of time.
Hunter Reynolds was the first to wrap him up.
By the time they set the ball, by the time they get lined up, by the time they call a play, critical third down.
Yeah, they could do nothing but stop the clock there. They had the clock at 26 seconds left. And yeah, there is just so little time to work with here, and that's also going to be 4th and goal for the Rainbow Warriors.
Well, the game clock operator, please reset the game clock. 21 seconds. 21 seconds.
They're opting to kick the field goal, right? They still need a touchdown. They need the onside, so you need 2 scores.
Shager now 306 yards passing, 23 of 46 of the 2 TDs, 3 interceptions, the 306 yardage, a career high. But they're down 2 scores, so they're just going to have Shipley kick this.
1-yard attempt.
This is characterized usually as a ship shot. And there it is. So Hawaii is going to have to onside here. 18 seconds currently on the game clock.
So it all comes down to the onside kick, right? You recover, you got a couple shots in the end zone, possibly.
Well, at the end of the day, regardless of the outcome here, you got to give Timmy Chang's guys some credit, especially that defense, for trying to do whatever they could to hang in there, somehow make a game of this. They are at the moment down just 7. They need some form of a Manoa miracle with 18 seconds left, but there is no denying the effort and how hard this team has played here this evening.
Yeah, and you know, they've been so close, right? Somebody has to make a play. We talked about offense, defense. Well, right now, special teams has to make a play. Timmy talks about it so much about the mental game. Well, right now, if they can physically recover this onside kick, they've got a chance.
So here we go. It comes down to this. Kyler Halverson. And it is loose, but falling on top of it once again was Quinton Hadnot.
And not to get specific with special teams, but that's why one guy would trail in case you get that shot that comes backwards and you have the other guys attack, because that was a heck of a kick by Kyler Halverson. Hits him right in the face, and there's nobody trailing on the onside kick.
Oh, that was up for grabs. But it is Utah State that falls on top of it, and it will be Utah State that will hang on for the victory. But credit the Rainbow Warriors. We thought it was over a long time ago. They at least gave this game down the stretch a little bit of dramatic flavor.
Entertaining, hard fought, you know, discipline in question, turnovers in question, but there is a lot of plays on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball.
34 points, season high for Hawaii, but it comes in defeat. The 2 head coaches meeting at midfield. The difference in this game will go down as the turnovers, and really the turnovers alone for the Rainbow Warriors. Bank of Hawaii presents the players of the game. For Utah State, Ike Larson. He went monster. 6 tackles, 2 TFLs, 2 interceptions, including what was ultimately the game-deciding pick 6. 41-34 the final. And Meki Pay, in his return to action, it was payday. 8 tackles, 1.5 tackles for a loss, and 1.5 sacks. All right, Rich Miano, I'll give you the final word here before we send it to the postgame.
Ultimate team effort, right? When you talk about turnovers in the offense, the defense has to take it away, right? So you not have a 3-0 differential, which results about 95% in losses. So even though they turned it over 3 times on offense, they threw the ball effectively. They threw it much more than they normally do. You got to take it away on defense, right? So this is a team loss, and I think this team has a lot to be proud of, but they're running out of weeks to get a win for these seniors.
They're playing hard. They're still falling short. They have 2 games left to try to feel good here before the end of this 2022 campaign. It's UNLV in this facility next week. We will have that for you right here on Spectrum Sports pay-per-view as well, and then they'll end the season at San Jose State. But once again, the final score, 41-34. Don't forget about the post-game show. The guys are going to break down what transpired here at Clarence T.C. Ching Athletic Complex Field. For Rich Miano, I'm Kanoa Leahy. Till next time, everybody, aloha from Manoa.